Millionaires are made, the show where we believe that you can be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. It goes much more than being a millionaire in your financial health. And today we're going to be focusing on social health, your social health and travel. How can you improve your social health with travel? We do episodes on all the aspects of health: physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual, financial, and obviously this one's going to be on social. Millionaires Are Made is a show built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone. And I learned that from traveling. A lot of this show is built on my travel life. So this is going to be a fun episode. We've got some awesome guests here all over the world. We've got Portland, I think Sweden, and London. We got someone running around traveling in the middle of a park in London right now. In the spirit of authenticity and removing any bias I may have for these shows, I don't know who the guests are until about 15 to 20 minutes before the show starts, and we don't go over our tips at all. So this is going to be all authentic, straight from these guests. They're going to teach you how to improve your social health with travel. Audience, we love comments and questions. Please, please, please. When you ask a question, we'll put it on live and ask them right then and there so that you can get your answer. On that note, if you do have, which I know you do, something to share and want to be a guest, please sign up. Link is being dropped right now, www.millionairesaremade.com. We're always looking for new guests. We love new guests, and we want to learn what you have to share. If you don't want to be a guest, but you have something you're working through right now, a little bit of a struggle, and you want us to cover a topic, that would be fantastic. Just shoot us the word, the topic, whatever you want in any of our social media, and we'll go find guests and we'll go create an entire episode for you. And if you love what we do, share, like, subscribe on YouTube, whatever it is, please give us some love, because that's what makes us keep doing this every single week, to share information across the world from everyone so we all can grow together. And if you like how this episode is and you want a little more one-on-one, I do offer free coaching, part of my giving back, part of my life. So if you want to have a one-on-one with me, feel free to check the link right now below. And that brings us to our sponsors for this episode. We've got some awesome sponsors. Definitely want to bring some attention to them. One of our biggest sponsors is InstaFarm. Right now, they grow microgreens at home. It's super simple. You add water once a week and you get amazing, beautiful, delicious microgreens all the time. You get more than you can eat. You can sell them or give them to friends, but it's an amazing product. We love them. Thank you so much. We do have a link if you're interested for $50 off their products. So that'll be shared right below us. And another sponsor is, for you car people out there, Gunther's Adventures, the one-stop shop for adventure, inspiration, and uniquely designed Toyota upgrades. If you're an off-roader or you like watching off-roading, check out their Instagram right now. Go follow the crazy trips that they go on and all the cool, unique off-roading tools that they create. And our final sponsor, thank you so much for helping, Whoopsie Hair Ties. If you have had problems or hate standard hair ties, introducing Whoopsie Hair Ties, where style meets resilience, redefining the ordinary with their versatile, durable accessories. Celebrate strength and uniqueness with every twist. Link drop below. Please go check them out and support them. And without further ado, my tip on how to improve social health with travel. This is probably one of my defining life activities, is traveling. I've been to nearly 60 countries. I currently live in the Caribbean on a tiny little island. I love travel. I love learning. I love meeting. A lot of that is where this show came from, is when I travel and I meet people and I realize they don't know things that they know, and these people should know that. And I said, let's just get everyone together that has tips. Let's share them with the whole world and let's all grow. So my tip is, when you travel, stay in a hostel. Stay in a hostel. There's a lot of people that don't like hostels. There's negative connotations. There's horror movies about hostels, but they're all not true. It's all fake news, CNN, Fox News shit. Some of my closest friends I've met in hostels. I still talk to a lot of them. Antonio, Ciao. Man, I don't even know what to tell you, but you meet people so fast. Everyone in the hostel is ready to meet, entertain, go out, anything you want to do, you just say it. There's someone in that house that wants to go with you. You'll have a group to explore. You'll learn everything about a city. You will never learn it faster than broke people that are trying to get the best bang for your buck. You'll be able for the cheapest museums, the cheapest food, all that kind of stuff. All comes from hostels, and I spent a lot of my life in a hostel. And I actually just spent like 3 or 4 days when I was in Mexico in a hostel, and met some awesome people there too. Probably watching this show. So good to meet you. That being said, we're going to bring out our first guest here, Danny. Danny, who are you?
Hey, so I am Danny, like you say. I have a plethora of things that I do. So I'm a travel blogger, an
Nice.
influencer, a mind and body coach, along with being a speaker and an author with an upcoming book that's loosely based on a traumatic brain injury I had about 9 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So I'm
Okay.
all over the place.
All right. Well, new book is coming out. Do you have a link for that yet, or do you know when it'll be launched?
It's going to be coming out at the end of July of this year.
End of July this year. All right.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
let's get into the nitty gritty. If I wanted to improve my social health using travel, what tiny piece of advice would you give me, Danny?
I really liked yours. However, I would have to say get around with the locals. Go to the local spots, get to know the locals, do local customs or traditions. Like that was a huge thing for me when I first started traveling.
Definitely the local. That's why we travel, right? I
Yeah.
can't, I have a bone to pick. I can't stand the people that say they've been to like, oh, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Dominican, and they fucking stay in a stupid ass resort. And I'm like, you
I
haven't fucking
know.
been there. Every resort's the same in every country. You can't say you've been to a new country if you sat your ass in a fucking resort. All right, bone over. Back to you. Where on your life journey did you learn this piece of advice?
So I guess I learned this from the first time I went solo out of the country. I met up with a friend to go on a trip in Peru, and we did some of the most amazing things. This is like my unforgettable trip that I've ever done in my life. We went into the
Hold on real
Amazons.
quick. And this is you're in Sweden,
Oh,
correct?
yeah.
Okay, I want to give some context there. Sweden to Peru, which is actually a
Uh,
popular European destination, I believe.
yes, I should give you a little more context. I'm actually American. I
Okay,
moved to Sweden about 5 years ago. So when I did this trip, I was in the US. So I
okay,
went to
okay,
Peru. Yeah,
okay.
and when I went to Peru, I ended up doing a 3-day trip, camping trip in the Amazons with two local guys, with the German guy we just met, and then my buddy. And we learned how to fish for fish with machetes and caught 8 fish.
Oh,
The the
that's
jur
dope.
the yeah, the tour guides, they jumped out of the canoe into the water in the middle of the night to grab a caiman, a baby caiman for us. And then they came back and it's like, no big deal. We're just like, what?
Why did they grab for you to like pet it or eat it or
Yeah, for us to pet it, and if we want to eat it, we can. But I was not
what?
down with that.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, and they got us down a sloth so we could pet a sloth, and they kept asking, "Oh, comer, eat." Like, no.
No, I don't want to eat this stuff. So let me ask you this: then, for those of us that are trying to get local, how did you meet and find these people?
So I think I actually met the German guy at a hostel, and he's
That's
the
where I
one
was
that,
gonna go with this. Perfect.
yeah, and he seemed to know he already had connections or already met some local people and then got this all figured out for us. And he just wanted more people to go with him. And
Perfect.
so we went on that and it was just amazing. And then like we also traveled to Iquitos and some of the other islands by the boats that were more for shipping containers and things. So it's like not really for touristy people or anything. So it's like we stayed on one of the boats for like 3 or 4 days that had a bunch of cows and chickens on it, and then just us with hammocks and a few other people with hammocks. But yeah, definitely not a lot of touristy people doing that.
Very true. That's awesome. That's a good experience.
Yeah.
Okay, you got about 30 seconds left. Let's go over top 3 countries you've ever visited.
Ooh, oh my gosh. Okay, that'd be Peru, Croatia, and uh, oh no, I think I'd have to say Czech Republic because that actually blew my
Woo!
mind how beautiful it is there.
Those are three probably of my top 10 for sure. Yeah, Croatia. I've done yacht weeks. I've been on all the islands there. One of my best friends is from Czech. He lives near Prague, and
Nice.
what was it? Oh, Peru. Yeah, I went there with one of my best friends there too. That was a really fun trip.
Hmm.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Danny. I'm gonna move on to. Oh, have you ever been to Turkey? We have a comment that
Yeah,
says about
yes,
Turkey.
I just got back from Turkey and that was amazing. I loved it. And I traveled there with my husband and my son, my 3-year-old son. They are so great with kids.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, Danny, we're gonna move on to Rukshana and put you backstage. Rukshana, who are you?
Hi everyone. I am Rukshana Trim, former refugee. I live here in Portland, Oregon, and I'm originally from Mozambique. I'm also an inspiration speaker, author, and also upcoming second author of Never Leave the Playground. The book is not produced yet. I also put events of African fashion shows, so I bring some of the culture and inspirations to Portland here, and I host outdoor retreats for women and encourage women to be outside and travel. And I also love traveling because I take groups of people with me to Mozambique once every year. So a lot of that stuff that I do here in the Pacific Northwest.
All right, how do we get on a trip to Mozambique?
All right, and you want to come next year in April? We're heading next year in
Oh,
April, so let's. And you talk about
oh,
travel. I think I love what you say, Austin. I love what you said because that's kind of like being in a. I lived in different countries, so mostly in Africa. So the best way to travel is definitely get your hands in the dirt and experience all of that stuff. So you are more than welcome to join me with the group next year. And April is already set in, and I'll get your contact and we get you going and email you and all the
yeah.
updates. Yes, yes,
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Let me ask you something super important though. If
yeah,
I wanted to improve my social health by
yeah.
traveling, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Your social health is really connecting to people. I talk a lot about how we are human, we are meant to connect. Hundreds years ago we're around the campfire, we talk stories, and the best way to connect is to be curious. And that's a great way for our emotional health, mental health, because we're constantly learning and expanding. I heard you say earlier that you're a coach. If we're curious, we're always learning. Life goes kind of quicker and faster, but you are always immersed in those experience of learning, and that's how we make it more better, a better world, a better mental health, better experiences for ourselves. Yeah.
Very well said. Very well said. Well, let's dive into your background. Where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
Oh my goodness. I have also well traveled from being in different countries and reading lots of books and following my amazing leaders that who are also my coaches and mentors, and also being in those moments learning from people who have traveled too. So I also watch a lot of documentaries, people who are, who have traveled without a plan or an agenda. My best planned trips is when you travel and you don't have an agenda and you're kind of like more curious about where you're going to end up next. You don't have an expectation. So you're not associated with, the plan, or attached to the outcome, which would be really fun because you don't know who you're going to meet, what you're going to do, the experience you're going to do, what you're going to learn, and everything is so organic, and we get into that, and life is so fulfilling that way.
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's funny when you travel internationally and all the Europeans are like, Americans don't have passports. That's crazy. And I'm like, well, I mean, we have everything in America. It's huge. It's like all of Europe. But then I'm also mad at Americans that don't have passports. Like my best friend, that's a fucking idiot that hasn't even been to Mexico yet.
Well, that's part of the Pacific Northwest. We have a lot of things here too, beautiful places to visit. But that's one of the things when I encourage people to be outside, to check in the outdoor, what's in their backyard, or what's across the state, one state over, or the state south. And I think hopefully when having those people who influence them to go beyond their state, and then encourage them to get a passport and trying something new. I think they just need that one step further. So we just need to keep inviting them, and then when they're ready in their own terms, they will go get the passport. I really believe that.
There you go. Well done. Well done. World Traveler, we'll get that question here in just a sec when we bring everyone out. We're going to move on to Francis. Francis, who are you? I think your mic might be muted.
Oh my God. How about that?
Oh, you sound great.
I'm originally from Australia. I was born in the Philippines. I've lived in about 10 different countries. I have turned my fashion business into, it runs off the back of a travel business at the same time, but it's also a travel business, and it's called Beautifully Diverse Fashion. And we've just gotten 2 categories as a finalist for the Beam Awards in Australia. So that's pretty much us. Yeah.
Nice. Congrats. Congrats. All right, Francis, I've got an important question for you. If I wanted to improve my social health with travel, what piece of advice would you give me?
I think the biggest thing about today is that we're really, even though we're on social media, I think people are afraid to just, learn another language, even though that can be scary sometimes. We're like, oh, we might mispronounce it, but just try. Even if you sound ridiculous, like I was practicing French and I know I sounded ridiculous, but it was just one word I was trying to use just to get by. And it actually helps. People like it when you try. So even if you
Yes.
mispronounce it, they'll help you. So don't be afraid to do that.
That's a huge tip. I mean, I speak a lot of languages, but I can only speak one at a time. Otherwise, it all shuts off. But when you're going to a country, learn at least like their 4 or 5 main phrases, and you get way better results from the locals that live there. Definitely a huge thing. All right, Francis, where on your life journey did you learn that piece of information?
Well, I've been traveling since I was about 3 months old. So this was before social media kicked in. We moved in, lived in 10 different countries, lived in Mexico, lived in China, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia, New Zealand. I'm now in the UK, so I'm actually in London right now in Hyde Park. Hopefully the signal's great. But, yeah, it's just really, that's pretty much how we grew up. And it was really about communicating because, we didn't have social media growing up. It was just starting to come out when I was like a teen and everything. But you had to learn how to communicate with somebody, even if you don't speak the same language. There was always a way to really just connect with somebody just by, talking, by food, just by sharing, pretty much whatever it is, really. You'll find a way to bond with somebody.
Nice. Yeah, very accurate tip. Very accurate. Awesome, Francis. Well, thank you so much. Are you ready to bring everyone out and start questioning each other's tips?
Woohoo!
All right, we'll bring Rukshana and Dani out. First things first, we do have a question from the audience. Have any of you been to Rwanda?
No, it's on my list. On the list.
It's on my list too.
Mine as
We'll
well.
go together.
All right. 4 of us and no one's been to Rwanda? Dang.
Mm.
All right, well, let's go forward then. Dani, can you very, very quickly refresh what your tip was?
My tip was about hanging out with the locals, getting to know them, trying local customs, traditions, that kind of stuff.
Francis, what are your thoughts on her tip, hanging out with the locals?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's how I pretty much grew up. We, like I said, before social media kicked in, you had to hang out with the locals. Otherwise, you were just not going to survive. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely something, and it's definitely, something where you can really understand their lifestyle, how they live. You don't have to agree with it, but it's something for you to really experience and actually really see.
I love that. Yeah, you don't have to agree with it, but learning about it is amazing. I just spent a year ago, I was in Qatar, and when you go to Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Jordan and all those countries, you get a lot of pre-thoughts from everyone around you. When we got there, we were like, this is so fucking far off. Not even close. Qatar was amazing. Abu Dhabi was amazing. It was pretty awesome. Rukshana, what are your thoughts on her tip?
I think it's great what Danielle said and Francis said. However, it's kind of scary for a lot of people to travel to a different country where they don't know and going to randomly, stay with a stranger or close to a stranger because there's a lot of trust issues. I think some of the stuff will come up from the past. I'm like, holy shit,
I can see
trust
that. I
and
can see
will they gonna steal in my purse and my bags? Will they take everything when I wake up the next day? Will they come into my room and take? I mean, those things come into mind when we travel. And I think also just paying attention to the human conscious, and feeling I'm like, you know what, this person sounds amazing, but what are the intentions? Are they really there to help? Because those incidents has happened to me and leading a group, when we open up to travel, we're also trusting all the people around there, but also just using our brain and intuition to be prepared and to take care of our stuff, and so that way when we're in that situation we don't go home empty handed without our credit card and our passports and things like that. So that's what I always think about that.
All right, we've got a question from the audience. What do you consider your favorite city? Not country, but city.
For me, I would definitely have to say Prague. Because when I
Ooh,
got there, just the feeling, the atmosphere of the place, like I have a friend there, she just moved back, but she didn't do that when I was there. However, when I was there, meeting the locals and just getting the feeling of the place and all the environment and all the places that we found there. I mean, we found like they have a lot of alchemist museums and all these things that you can check out. And that's a huge thing they say there is there's a huge pole there.
I think
it's weird that was the first thought for me too, was Prague. The first time
Yeah.
I went there, I actually flipped a coin, and it was between Krakow, Poland, or Prague, and I landed on Prague, so I booked my flight there. And man, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't. It was so cheap. The food was good. The people was good. But I really, really loved the architecture. It's crazy seeing all the
Ah,
different
yeah.
periods of people that like took over that city over the last couple hundred years. It was pretty awesome. Francis, what's your favorite city?
I'm Kuala Lumpur. If you haven't been out to Kuala Lumpur,
Ooh.
it's definitely, they call it Malaysia, truly Asia. So you'll see it's so diverse. Like everybody has a different friend. That's how we grew up. Like we all used to go to everybody's, events like Hari Raya, Deepavali. Everybody just, we did. This was way before social media. So we would all, live in the condominium blocks and everything. So all us kids were just knocking everybody's door, like, hey, let's go, and everybody, all the parents sort of knew where we were, so it was sort of like a mob of different kids grounds and we go hang out. So that was definitely an experience for me. Yeah, I love that.
That's awesome. Rukshana, what is your favorite city?
I think Cusco. I think Dani was saying earlier that she traveled to Peru. Oh my God, the people are amazing. They're so helpful.
Okay.
And there was one time experience I had gone there with a group, and I was eating the same thing, and they're like, how do you know? Because I was so sick, I was eating the same thing. It's like, how do you know you have traveled? Is you have to try the traditional way of eating and food. So Cusco, Peru was amazing for me too. So, and of course, going to Africa, going to Malawi, the Malawians are the most humbling, loving people there. And they
Ah,
will bend forward and backwards just to help you and will go an extra mile just to be served, to help you. So,
very
yeah.
cool. Did
Yeah.
you eat alpaca in Peru, in
I
Cusco?
did. And I ate guinea. Is that guinea pig too? Is that what is it?
Yeah.
After I found
Yeah,
out
Nice.
guinea
the
pig.
stomach got stronger, I figured, since I've eaten worms in Africa, I've eaten all kinds of dehydrated meat and dehydrated fish, I could try those things. So yes, I tried it, and it was very different, and kind of like, you can't say you didn't try when you travel. That's the whole purpose of traveling and trying the different foods. Yeah.
Danny, you were in were you in Cusco or just in Peru?
I was in many of the cities of Peru. I like did a whole travel through it. And when I was there, I think I loved doing the hike in Colca Canyon.
Okay.
And I did that just with some random girls I met at a hostel, and we just did it ourselves. And I walked my shoes to their grave because it was so hot they melted, and they were just shitty shoes because they're like $20 I spent on them, because it was like when I wasn't really knowing how good you should have good shoes when you hike. But that
That
experience
is
was awesome.
that is awesome. Did either of you do ayahuasca in Peru?
Yes.
No, I was a little afraid. I wasn't brave enough, but a few of my friends did it. Yes.
Did you do it with a shaman, Danny?
Yes, and he had been a shaman for 65 years. So we
Nah.
actually, with that German and my friend, we went to an island that I don't think I've ever seen white people there before because they gave me such big eyeballs when I got there. And then we ended up going to the guy's shack. And yeah, we went through the whole ceremony. We took showers with his well water and ate their food. And it lasted, I think, 3 days in total.
All right, quick question. Our audience asked about Prague. Did you ever go to Cross Club in Prague?
I didn't even know about it.
It's probably one of my favorite nightclubs in the whole world. They do some crazy shit there.
Huh.
We also got questions about skydiving. Any of you been skydiving?
Yes.
No, not yet.
No, Francis?
Yes.
One day.
I did it.
One day.
I actually did that in Minnesota.
Well, Francis, you're gonna have to do it because it's fucking. If you're a travel freak and an adrenaline freak, it's the best thing in the world.
I've done bungee jumping in New Zealand, off Auckland Bridge, and that was
Nice.
actually scary. And then I was like, "Oh damn! I paid for it. I need to jump off." So there's only one way to go.
That's one of like the top 3 biggest, right, in New Zealand?
I think so. Yeah. I'm not where I was. I think it's in Christchurch, but I think
Okay.
I think it's after Christchurch might be Auckland. I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was there, and I remember they were advertising something like that. But skydiving, if for your first time, Francis, if you want to go in the best place in the world, you have to go to Dubai. It's expensive as fuck.
Yes, I want to. I've seen that.
Skydiving over the Palm and the World Islands, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? It's awesome. That goes for all of you if you haven't. That's definitely the best place I've skydived. I'm from Denver, so I've skydived in the mountains, which is also really cool, seeing like the Rocky Mountains, but seeing those islands was crazy. Cool. All right, guys. Well, we are at a point where we need to come up with our daily challenge. It needs to take less than 5 minutes a day, cost $0, and be available to anyone from Kuala Lumpur to Prague. What do we suggest to improve our social health with travel?
Get out of your comfort zone. You could do this daily. That means, like, let's say you take your car on the road and you only go a specific way every single day. Switch it up and just go a different way. Just take a different route, or try a different meal than your regular food, or eat at a different restaurant that you're not used to eating at, or trying a new hobby that you've never tried. I mean, there's loads of different things you can do. So it's a great way to get out of your comfort zone, and that actually helps you get ready to travel to a whole new environment and a whole new culture and everything as well.
Francis, what thoughts do you have for our daily challenge?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the biggest things, right, in life, right? You get one shot, that's it. So, and trust me, even though I've been traveling since I was 3 months old, I'm still freaking scared. Like, I just went to France for the first time, and I don't speak any French. And so me and the lady were sort of standing in the shopping center trying to communicate. And I'm like, home? Come back. Trying to tell her that I was coming back because I sort of overspent on the groceries. And I'm like, I'll be back. And she understood. And then, so I think, definitely try. And I think, sometimes if you've got like other friends, like for me, we try to mix a lot with international students, and because they, have moved overseas, so I totally understand that feeling. So if you're at a university, definitely start talking to international students, because you can also make travel friends from that. Where is she? She's somewhere out here, but she's with me somewhere here. But it's her cousin is actually my friend, but she's from Ghana, so she's somewhere in the park right now. But yeah, so and we've never ever met before, but we have a mutual friend in common. So yeah, you'll make lots of new friends, and you get to make it as free accommodation. So
Awesome. Hey, Rukshana, what do you think for a daily challenge?
I feel like daily challenge is also expanding our brain to learn something new. Learning a different language, a couple words. I think we talked about that when every time we travel, we learn the common words. Thank you, please. You know what I mean? Where the bathrooms is. So really
Where's the
expand.
party?
Where's the party? Yes, Alston. Where's
Where's
the
the
party
party?
tonight? Where's the club tonight? What is the
Yeah.
best? I mean, asking the local thing, like, what is the local drinks that they drink? You know, I know when I travel, you know, they have their own drinks that they make at home, and you know, some of them are like medicinal. But just being curious, coming from a place of curiosity, I'm gonna go back to coming to a place of curiosity, and when we learn, we also expand our, you know, our comfort zone. So because then we're pushing our brains to build that new skills, and then it also expand our ways of trying new things or trying new languages and meeting new people, and having those conversations. And also when we have these new curiosities of learning the new language or learning things, it tells the audience that we're, or the people that we're with, that we care. You know, I feel like I mean, not in the wrong way, I feel like Americans, we have this entitlement that, we all need to learn, England, different languages. I'm like, yeah, you can learn different language, expand different, and most people who travel around the world or are from a different country, they'll speak about 2 to 3 languages. So let's be curious and learn a little conversation and a way of communication, because it makes us, a better understanding of the world, right?
All right. I think that I've got a fun one for us. Daily
Okay.
challenge is to think of a phrase that you like. So it could be not just like, where's the bathroom, anything boring and mundane. Let's spice it up, like, where's the best pizza, or how can I eat guinea pig? Pick your favorite phrase, and every day for the next week, so that's 7 times, you're going to learn how to say it in a new language.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. It's a good one.
Sound like a fun challenge?
That sounds like a fun challenge. Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can Google Translate it and just be like, all right, here's how I pronounce it. Practice a few times and try to use it like 5 times throughout the day. Like your favorite phrase in another language, just in everyday conversation.
That's a good one. That's a good
All
one.
right.
Did you want us to say one in a different language?
Say a daily challenge in a different language?
Well, say like say a sentence or something, so the audience has something from a different language.
Do it.
I'm assuming all of us know it.
Say your
Okay.
favorite sentence.
Okay. I'm gonna say one that I think is easy to use in Swedish. Vad gör du? So that means what are you doing? Vad gör du?
Nice.
Okay.
That's awesome, Danny.
I'll say my favorite phrase in Italian, but I'm not gonna tell you guys what it means. Rukshana, what's your favorite phrase in another language?
Oh, I think onde que vais? Like in Portuguese, I think in Mozambique they speak Portuguese. Onde que vais, that means where you're going. So I'm always asking where the curious people are they going. So onde que vais?
So
Where you going?
Mozambique speaks Portuguese. Interesting.
Mozambique speak Portuguese, and they speak other tribal languages as well. They have over 100 tribal language. Yeah.
All right, Francis, what's your favorite phrase in another language?
Oh my God. I think I don't know, but I love this one. It's Papua New Guinea pigeon, which is Mr. Plagola house, which is basically, it's simple, right? I'm going to the house, but it's just, it's really simple. So
That's awesome.
I like it. All right, so I've got 2, I guess. One is "Que cazzo fai," which is just, what the fuck are you doing? And I feel like I yelled that a lot when I used to live in Italy. Very different culture, and I was in the South too, so it's slow and like kind of like lazy, and I feel like I say it a lot on this island too. I'm too like modern, fast paced. And then the other one that I'm not telling you what it means, it's my favorite, we would say it all the time, is "Que bella figa." That was "Que bella figa." That was my favorite line that we would use a lot out there.
Beautiful shit.
Not quite close. No, not that close, but kind of. All right, guys. Well, we got our daily challenge. So pick your favorite phrase that you love to say and learn it in 7 different languages, 1 per day over the next week. Thank you all for coming. We are going to wrap up this show. We'll put you guys backstage. And thank you so much for watching another episode of Millionaires Are Made. Hope you guys learned some things about traveling, social health. We got an awesome daily challenge. It's going to be pick your favorite phrase, like where them French fries at, or man, you need to shower, and learn it in a different language each day. You can use Google Translate. It's pretty simple, and then try practicing it. It'll help open up your intellect. It'll make you learn some things, learn how different languages say different things and how they're different. And hopefully you'll travel to all 7 of those countries here soon.